Senator Josh Hawley, of course, has decided to bring a bill to the floor of the House that is called the Pelosi Act. And I think that is very appropriately named because the Democrats had every opportunity to actually get this thing up for a vote. Pelosi, of course, refused. She has been trading on inside information for probably decades.
She wouldn't even, this is not something that she would have even considered.
Hawley introduces Pelosi Act banning lawmakers from trading stocks. Senator
I love that
Josh Hawley
that.
has introduced a bill that will ban members of Congress from trading and owning stocks using the same legislation to take a jab at Representative Pelosi. Who gives a shit?
I love that it's called the Pelosi Act. I love that.
And I love watching the blue MAGA sycophants have to, basically say, "You're so rude." I'm like, no, Nancy Pelosi has looted the Treasury, as far as I'm concerned.
And she wonders why people break into her house.
Hawley on Tuesday introduced the Pelosi Act Yeah, seriously, to hell with it. Or the Preventing Elected Leaders from Owning Securities and Investments Act.
That's
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect name. Renew it. Credit to you, Hawley. And Josh Hawley is going to run for president. It's just a matter of when.
And I don't like him. No, I don't like him.
He's a spoiled rich kid who ended up getting on. Isn't he a Trumpy? He was a hedge fund and all that and blah, 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 blah. Legislative push to curtail stock trading by lawmakers that has failed over the last few years. Members of Congress and their spouses shouldn't be using their position to get rich on the stock market. What a novel thought. The GOP senator previously introduced legislation last year seeking to ban lawmakers and their spouses from holding stocks or making new transactions while in office. The Hill has reached out to Pelosi's office for comment. Of course, there was none. Hawley, like a number of other Republicans, has focused on the former speaker and her family in pushing to ban stock trading by members of Congress. Last sold millions of dollars worth of shares of a computer chip maker as the House prepared to vote on a bill focused on domestic chip manufacturing. Spokesman for Pelosi said at the time that he sold the shares at a loss, which is a lot of interest in legislation barring stock trades after then Senator Richard Burr of North Carolina, who at the time was the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, unloaded stocks at the offset of the coronavirus pandemic. I believe Richard Burr ended up making about $5 or $6 million at the time on that sale. The SEC recently closed a probe on his trading activities without taking action. Shocking. Remember, you can screw working people. You can't screw the rich. If you screw the rich, you'll end up like Bernie Madoff.
Then you get in trouble.
Lawmakers have yet to be able to come up with a plan that garners enough support from both sides of the aisle to get a bill through Congress. Democrats in 2022 scraped a plan to vote on such legislation before the midterm elections, even after Pelosi reversed course and expressed openness to colleagues voting for stock.
When did she express open? I don't want to hear about expressing openness. That's not a thing.
Along with Hawley's bill, a bipartisan duo in the House has a bill this year on the topic. Representatives Abigail Spanberger, one of the biggest neoliberals in all of Democratic Party politics, and Chip Roy, as MAGA Republican as you can get, introduced the Trust in Congress Act this month, marking the third time the pair have introduced the legislation.
Yeah, but that doesn't have as good of an anagram as the Pelosi Act. I want the she wants a federal building named after her. Oh, I would so much prefer to have a nice piece of legislation named after her. You know that, right? That she allocated X amount of money in the omnibus bill for her federal building in San Francisco. And it's called the Speaker Pelosi building. Did you know this?
No, that's gross. These people, I'm telling you. I love the name of the bill. The only thing that I do see one thing, and Republicans are so good at this. Keep an eye out for this and keep an eye out for the other bills that it's going to be covering up.
Oh, yeah.
Because Democrats are great at it, too. Don't get me wrong. Both parties are legit good at this. They're so shitty. They'll bring out some good bill and dangle it we're saying to stop trading stocks, and then you look and they're doing something insane on the back end. So while they're doing this and they've named it the Pelosi Act, which I love, and they're doing some of this theater because I don't think this will get passed, even though it damn well should.
Yeah.
I would also look at here's the shiny thing. What are they doing over here? And Democrats do it too. Don't get me wrong. They suck. But Republicans have a special skill at the beginning of the session of rolling out some bill with some kind of name like this that's really flashy, and then passing some really horrible piece of legislation underneath.
Oh, I don't think anything good will come. Yeah, nothing good will come of this. I don't think they're actually going to pass anything meaningful. And yes, I think they'll use every opportunity to pass things that are more intrusive and take away our rights, because that's what people do.
You had this guy, it doesn't matter what his name is. It just matters that he's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those Democratic, whatever you want to call them, the people that basically roam the streets of D.C. and they're just sycophants for the Democratic establishment. And so this person is like, the Republicans are worse at the stock trading. It's like, who gives a rat's ass who's worse? It shouldn't be allowed.
It's just, they're worse.
It's like, who gives a shit?
It's like junior high.
Bad.
I know Pelosi insider trades, but let me tell you about the Republicans who do it too.
They're worse.
Here's the bottom line. There is a clause in the bill that basically allows for blind trusts. If you're going to have that, then there is no point in having this bill. Get the blind trust clause out of the bill, which we all know they're not going to talk about, but we will, and status quo will, and hopefully others will too, that if you do not remove the blind trust clause within the bill, then there is no point in passing this, because that will be the loophole that will allow them to continue to do insider trading and put everything offshore. That's the goal. It always will be. Either you're going to stop the corruption or you're not.
Right. Well, but look, kudos to the Republicans for capitalizing on the opportunity to make it look like they give a crap. And this is, it's theater. It's all theater. And it's the Democrats do it with their things too, where we know you don't actually mean that, but you're just saying that because it looks a certain way. It's all
what this tells us is even they know what's popular.
Yeah.
Anti-war is popular. Reining in corruption with Congress is popular.
But it won't make you rich.
Healthcare is popular among the workers. So they will pageantry the stuff that is important to us. So that gives me some confidence in some ways, because they've got the back end polling, they got the knowledge. And what we can say is we know the public is here. The public wants this to happen. We all know that. So then that takes it back full circles to what we were talking about before. How can we use this in part to help build the labor movement? Are there other ways, if they're not going to pass the legislation, are there other ways that we can prevent the insider trading? Certain, can we push to pressure and do boycotts on companies that Congress are trading with until they stop trading with Congress?
If there wasn't,
are there other creative ways to just tackle it? I mean, that's just one idea, because I feel like we're so honed in on this bill has to be passed at the federal level by Congress for us to do something. I feel like in a lot of the global South countries and a lot of the countries, think about the Yellow Vest movement, for instance, they got things done in more creative ways.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have to start doing economic boycotts. We got to make these people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I think none of them should get a moment of peace.
That's a cute Poochie.
Yeah. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that. I don't think they should get a moment of peace. I think when they're out in public, they think they should constantly be heckled. I think we should follow them into the bathrooms in public. I have no problem with any of that. And I do think we need to it's true. I think that if you're Brett Kavanaugh and you're out eating in public, you should not have that moment of peace in your life. And these are people that, whether it's appointed or elected, are there for the public good. And if you are not serving at the public good, then you should not be able to, you need to not hear the end of it. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.